Sébastien. I'm the co-founder of VEJA. I founded VEJA with my best friend Guilain in 2004. And we were, before VEJA, we were working with, we were 23, 24 years old, and we were working for big companies, big French groups like Kering or like Lafarge, EDF, which is the electricity company in France, like Carrefour, distribution supermarkets. And we worked around the world during 1 year in 2003 to analyze and get to know sustainable development projects from those big companies. So we traveled in China, we traveled in Peru, Bolivia, South Africa, Brazil, India, in a lot of what was called at this era emerging countries. So we worked for those big groups, and we were quite disappointed by what we saw on field. We saw that ecology, we saw that social development, we saw that economic justice was not integrated into the business of those big groups, those big companies, and we were quite disappointed by what we saw. We saw what we saw on field. We saw that the speeches from Paris, of New York, or New York were really disconnected from the reality that we saw. There were a lot of beautiful movies and beautiful talks and beautiful speeches, but on field, it was really different. And what we decided to do is not joining those big groups, not working in sustainable development department of those big groups, but create a project that would gather all what we saw, all the difficulties we saw on field. So we were 25 years old, and we said, what could be the product that could be a symbol that could be made by two guys of 25 years old that doesn't know shit about fashion, and so we decided to do a sneaker. We decided to do a shoe that would try to respect both human beings and environments, and going up the chain of production, going up all the factories, and going until the raw materials, to find different raw materials, to know those raw materials, like organic cotton, or our soles are made with wild rubber from Amazonia. And since 2004, we decided to go ourselves in the Amazonian forest to buy ourselves the wild rubber taken from the trees by seringueiros. There are communities that are living in the forest, living in harmony with this forest. They could be the guardians of this forest, but they could be the destroyers also, depending on how much money they can get protecting the forest, or how much money they can get destroying the forest. So, for example, to buy the rubber, we went 1 time, 2 times, 10 times there to understand what was going on. All the issues were, it's another world. So we decided to buy the wild rubber that they were collecting from the trees. We decided to buy it almost 2 times the market price, for them to not to survive with the money they can get, but to live with it, and to be able to invest and to have a decent wage. So we do the same for organic cotton. And we realized 10 years after that maybe we were the only company in the world, fashion company in the world, that was buying directly the raw material, the organic cotton itself, not a yarn, not a fabric, but the cotton itself. So we have direct relationships with, at the beginning of VEJA, it was a very small company because we started with 10,000 euros. So we bought, I think the first year it was 3 tons, 2.5 tons of organic cotton. then we make the thread, then we make the fabric, then it goes to the shoe factory in southern Brazil. And that's how VEJA started. That's how what we try to do is to have at every step of the way to know, to control, to be on field, to know what we're talking about. And we finish in Paris here by the warehouse is an NGO that is helping people with big social difficulties, that is helping them to be back again into a normal professional and social life. So that was the beginning of VEJA. Then it grew quite well because the people that were buying VEJA didn't know what we did what was behind the shoes, but they liked the style. And so today, maybe 80% of the people, today, like 13 years after, maybe 80% of the people don't know what is behind VEJA, and it's okay with us, because we don't do any advertising. We don't do this because we prefer our sneakers are 5 to 7 times more expensive to make, but we sell it to the common price of the big brands like Nike, Adidas, etc. We sell it at the same price in the stores because we don't do any advertising. We put everything, all the resources we have, we put it in the production chain, not in advertising, football players, models, etc. Because we realized in 2004 that 80% of the price of a shoe, like a sneaker of a big brand, 80% of this price is advertising, and 20% is the cost of the reality of the shoe, like the manufacturer, the factory, the raw materials, etc. So that's the DNA of VEJA, is to eradicate advertising and put everything in the production chain. So that's the project we try to do today. We are 100 people in the company, very talented team, and the thing is we don't chase investors. We want to grow organically, so we didn't have any investment in the company. We were bankers before doing VEJA, so we know what it is all about. We're not running after growth. We are growing quite steadily and quite quickly, but we are very cool about growth, and that's, I think, something that has to change, and especially in this place, in Station F. I think the culture of growth has to change. It can be cool to have maybe 1% growth or 1% less turnover per year. Today, everything is chained to the finance industry, and I think we have to let it go, to be sustainable, not only with the raw materials we use, to be sustainable not only with the production we have, but also with the culture, the economic culture we are transmitting. And this culture of VEJA, to have no investors, to be very cool about growth, is something that we protect and that we cherish a lot.
Thank you very much.